How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of Driven. My name is Rivers Pierce from BoomTown, and today we are in sunny Charleston. We've got Jeff Cohn from Omaha here, longtime BoomTown client. I will let you introduce yourself as I start driving, and we'll go from there.
Hey, I'm looking forward to doing this. Haven't had a lot of in-car interviews. My first live stream ever on Facebook, I was actually streaming from my iPhone while driving. I would recommend to the audience to not do it.
Don't. He's going to say a lot of things you should do.
That's right. This one you should not do.
Don't do that one.
But super excited. I own Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group. We started our team in 2011 and launched our first CRM and website solution was BoomTown. And so it was really exciting. My first year I did around 70 transactions in 2011. Last year in 16 we ended at 601 in sides. And this year we're already on track to do over 750 sides. And we were number 2 at Berkshire Hathaway worldwide last year. We're hoping to be number 1 within Berkshire. We'll be in the top 20 in the United States. And we're having a lot of fun doing it. So we're just happy to be out in Charleston today.
That is incredible. I mean, and you know, to a lot of people, 70, 100 sides is, you know, pretty impressive. You know,
most people,
that's all right.
Yeah, it's pretty good business. Gross commission income this year will be $3 million. Last year was 2.5. Of which I keep about 30%. So I follow the red book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, keep around 30, pay out about 60% in agent commissions and 10% in overhead costs. So today I'll kind of spit out some analytics. For those that are not analytical, I apologize. For those that are, you're welcome.
He's good with numbers. How many people on your team?
So today there's 40 licensed agents, but we have just started rolling out last year sub-agents. So teams can now exist within my team. So I run my team a lot like a brokerage.
Okay.
And so we now have teams within teams. So I have about 30 agents that work on my team, and then there's another 10 that are working within sub-teams of teams within my team.
So it's like Inception or something.
It's exactly like Inception.
Do you, how do those splits roll up for those guys? You take some of theirs, does it roll up through
our
the team
split
lead,
structure? Our agents start at a 60-40 if they're working for me, and they can cap at 80-20. So if you produce at 4 million or more, you're at an 80-20 split. If you're on a sub team, we just drop at 10%. So you start off on the sub team at 50-50 and you cap at a 70-30.
All right.
So that sub team lead makes the most amount of money when they create a lead opportunity because they get to keep 30% of it.
Yep.
The sub agent keeps 50%, and then our company ends up taking about 20%.
Gotcha. And so you take a little bit of a hit, but you're doing a lot more volume.
That's exactly right. You know, and one of the things, the 3 main components of a successful real estate team, number 1 is recruiting, number 2 is training, number 3 is retention.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to retain is to help people leverage and build a scalable, systematic team. A lot of times top teams, I think, lose their top performing agents because they can't offer them value. And so one of the biggest value adds that we are now offering our team is the ability to scale and grow within Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a nice segue. You know, obviously teams are hot right now. You've been running team model 5+ years within an organization that isn't really team heavy.
Yeah.
So a trendsetter there as well. So what do you propose for brokers out there that are afraid of teams? You know, that are afraid that the team's going to grow, they're going to leave, they're going to either start their own brokerage, they're going to go somewhere else, or you know, they don't even know how to foster an environment that is going to create, you know, where the team actually creates value for the brokerage.
Right. So traditionally over the last 10 to 15 years, brokerages have given away the commission. Used to be 20 years ago, companies actually made money on the commission splits, whereas now I feel like a lot of brokerages have lost that as a profit margin, and now they're finding profits through ancillary services like owning title companies, insurance companies, and the like. And so the greatest way I believe to offer value to team leaders is to help them scale their team. And you can do that by helping them create training platforms that are going to help their individual agents sell more houses. And so one of the things my team does to give value to my team leaders is we provide a Wednesday and Friday training that not only the team leader attends, but also the sub-agents within their team will attend, like a listing presentation training every 6 months or a negotiation training every 6 months. So I think if brokers are going to want to retain quality agents at an individual level and at a team leader level, they have to recognize what that team leader needs, and training is going to be one of those biggest components.
What about recruiting for your team? Have you found that having I think I was talking to Travis Robertson, if you know Travis.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were doing one of these a couple weeks ago,
cool.
and his thing was like, halo effect, like more yard signs, more people on the team, more.
Yep.
You're going to attract a talent attracts a talent, etc.
Yep.
Success begets success.
That's
you've seen
right.
that in your time.
Yeah, so you're talking still on broker value. So when it comes from a recruiting standpoint, now that we have teams within teams, we no longer want to take brand new agents. And so if someone wants to join that just got licensed or has only been licensed for a few months and hasn't sold very many houses, another value add to the teams within our team is that we allow that candidate to interview several team leaders to decide which team they feel like they're the best fit for. So if you're a broker listening or a team leader listening, number one, training, number two, recruiting. Are going to be the value adds. And it's interesting because in the beginning of the call, I said the three biggest things are training, recruiting, and retention. So when it comes to retention, if you give them an environment in which they can continue to grow, I know one of my biggest pain points was physically my office wasn't a place where I could scale. I kept fighting with my broker to need more and more space. And so what we chose to do is we built out a space that was independent of offices. It was just a touch and go environment. So we have a bullpen that's 1,500 square feet and then another 1,500 square feet of offices that are just for our admin staff. And then we have about 1,000 square feet of touch and goes, where environment where agents can just go for a couple hours, have some privacy, and then pop out. So anyone listening,
call that touch and go.
It's just a touch and go. Yep.
Very cool. All right, so let's see, where do we want to go? We talked a little bit about teams. Let's talk about your tech stack a little bit. So, all right, so we'll go. So I know that you are obsessed with the data, obsessed with the numbers. You are a big fan of technology and leveraging. Well, you're a big fan of leverage across the board. Well, in every fashion, right? So, what does your tech stack look like? What are you leveraging there, and how is that allowing you to continue to scale?
Well, of course, I have to plug BoomTown. So for 6 years, we've been using the BoomTown platform. Obviously, we've always been open to competitors of yours. We, to date, have not seen anyone that comes even close to offering the value that BoomTown offers, from a front-end website solution to a back-end CRM solution. We've had a lot of success, not only with AdWord lead gen, but also just as of recent years, we've had a lot of leads now coming in through search engine optimization, organic traffic.
Because you've developed content for 5+ years on the same domain and actually proactively done it.
That's right.
And you've had a lot of Facebook stuff. We did a Facebook case study with you guys.
Yeah, we did.
So you're getting a lot of good leads off of Facebook now too.
Yep, we have a very strong presence on Facebook. We've worked really hard on our Instagram presence. We go out every time that anyone buys or sells a house with us, we ask them to review us on Google+. We ask for a Zillow review, Trulia review, and Facebook review.
And you're using Real Satisfied.
We use Real Satisfied to power the surveys of every client that we work with. Over 50% of the customers we served last year actually was willing to fill out that survey. And if anyone listening wants to see Real Satisfied's testimonial pages, they're really awesome. You can jump out on my website, omahaselite.com, and just on the top right, click on testimonials.
That's great. So BoomTown's kind of at the center of your hub.
Yep. So Real Satisfied, we just mentioned.
Various lead gen.
Dialing solution. Mojo Dialer, hands down, bar none, is going to be the best dialing solution. I know Vulcan 7 and RedX have an integrated solution as well, but where Mojo, I really feel like shines, is as a 3-line dialer, and no one else has that. Right. And so BoomTown just recently integrating a year or so ago with the Mojo Dialer, I feel like it's really taken our business to the next level. Obviously, it's a matter of getting your agents trained on that and comfortable with it. But when we go in, let's say you're calling your nurture category, which we denote as anyone that's buying or selling or has indicated they're buying or selling in 3 to 6 months, my agent can just Mojo through 100 of the people that are in nurture. It takes them 1 hour to call 100 people, whereas if they're hand dialing, it's going to take 3 hours to get that same result. So Mojo has been huge from not only a lead conversion standpoint, but also a lead generation standpoint, doing outbound prospecting to expired. We'll pull expired data from Vulcan 7, which is another company that we work with, and we'll just call all the expireds from the last 6 months, and we can get through that list in just a couple hours using the Mojo dialer.
So we've talked about BoomTown, Real Satisfied, Mojo, Vulcan 7. I think and then your various lead sources. But what you're not saying is those are all means to an end. You're saying we use this tool to do this thing, to prospect, to better email, to monitor the data better, et cetera, et cetera. It still comes down to they're all just a tool set. They work together nicely, and then you put a an airtight system and process on top of it.
Yep. The biggest challenge is a lot of agents invest a lot of money and brokers in all these awesome fancy tools, but they don't have a systematic approach to training agents how to use the tool, to holding them accountable to using the tool, and then to helping train and empower the agents that are using it to teach others or people within their team how to use that same thing. So we really try to take it full circle and make sure our agents are using it, we train them to use it, and then we hold them accountable to using it. And we show them why using the tools that we offer them are going to help them accomplish more with less energy, less stress, less headache. And so like when you can show an agent, we track all the calls that each of our agents makes.
Right.
When I can show them that they can get 150 calls done in an hour and a half versus 4 hours or 4.5 hours and get one sale out of that, it empowers them to sell 3 times as many houses.
Right. And so they'll well, I'm not going to get as strong of a split on your team that goes away because they're doing so much more volume. They're actually probably end up making more money.
A big conversation we have, and this is the same conversation you might have with a seller, while I charge more commission to a seller, I offer more value, and the value that I offer helps get the seller more money net after the transaction. When you the dialogue I like to use with the seller is your concern what I charge you to sell your property or what you're going to net at the end of the transaction? Everyone says what I'm going to net. It's the same question you're going to ask a recruiting candidate. Is your concern what the commission split is or what you're going to net at the end of the year? And they think that's the same thing, and it's not.
Right.
The difference is the value that the broker, team leader, or agent's going to provide to those considering joining their team. Obviously, all these different tech companies that we've partnered with are going to be a huge benefit to agents thinking about partnering with us because we're not going to charge them a dime for any of those things. We're making those
That's your value prop as
Yep.
the team leader.
Absolutely.
Joining the team as you get infrastructure, technology, training, mentorship, accountability. All you got to do is go out there and kick ass in the field with your clients.
Just go do the work. And if you want, you can eventually build your own team within our team and not even have to go kick ass and work directly with the clients. Your job then becomes recruiting, training, and retention of the team within our team.
I'm going to come join your team, I think.
Omaha's open. Anyone listening, I have open spots if you're thinking about building the real estate team. We're actually going after teams now. You know, most people traditionally go after individual agents from a team standpoint.
Sure.
We've started recruiting teams. So I want teams that are low functioning, that are, you know, each agent's averaging $2 to $4 million a year in production. And by plugging into everything we're doing, they're going to be at $6 to $8 million. And that's why an agent's willing to take a little bit of a loss on the commission split, is they can double their volume. If they get their whole team to double, they're going to naturally double themselves.
Yeah, and they don't have to do all the
everything themselves.
Stuff. Right.
Yep.
All right, so let's switch gears just a little bit. Ben, you know, we on this show we've been trying to talk a lot about the nuts and bolts of real estate teams and trends and things like that, but getting a little bit outside of that, a little bit outside the box, if you will. So this is a question I've been asking everybody, that with the rise of technology, the post-2007 era, the, you know, millennial generation, you know, becoming the generation that is the biggest workforce, the biggest next up and coming home buyers. But with all of that, with the more empowered consumer through you know, sites like Zillow and things like we offer as well, do you think that has shifted the way that the younger generation is thinking about the concept of home ownership as the traditional American dream of home ownership as the best place to put your money for equity growth, etc.? Do you think they're more gun shy, or that just the general American dream of home ownership has shifted or changed in their mindset?
Right. I love this question. It's a perception question, and I love answering perception questions because I can't get it wrong. But I will speak to my experience.
It was a softball for you.
Yeah, I love it. I'll speak to my experience. I'm in the Midwest. Our average sales price in our marketplace is $209,000. I still feel like millennials want to live the American dream. They want to get married. They want to have a family. And I feel like for a majority of those people, once they have tied the knots of marriage, that's the indicator that they now need to buy a property.
Sure.
And I'm not seeing a lot of rentals because in the Midwest, there's not really a lot of rental opportunities. There's not as strong condo market. While the condo market obviously exists in every city, that's definitely a minority of the real estate sales that take place. Now, if you just look at the books, get away from the mentality of, is that the American dream or isn't it? From a financial standpoint, if you're going to stay within a home for 5 years, it's going to be smarter to own it versus rent it.
Yeah.
If you're going to live there for 5 years. So a lot of people argue the average millennial right now going into the job force, or not millennial, but whatever gen that is, that goes into the job force today, they're going to have like 11 jobs or 15 jobs. They're going to be moving all over the country. I disagree. The people I engage with don't want to leave Omaha. They're happy in our market. They're happy, in our city. And I feel like a lot of people that grow up somewhere, they want to live there. And so while they might move jobs 11 times, their goal will be to shift jobs within their own city.
Gotcha.
And therefore, I don't think that they're going to be scared to own property. At least that's been my experience up to this point.
Good point.
A question I thought you were going to ask is if people are going to not feel that a realtor is necessary to facilitate the real estate transaction. I think a lot of agents are fearful of that. And I've put a lot of thought and energy into it, because if I could be a step ahead of that curve and be part of the software solution that allows the elimination of an agent, I'm always listening and watching and paying attention to that. And I still feel like because of how congested a real estate transaction is, a realtor is necessary. I think a lot of agents forget we are not in the business of selling real estate. We sell ourselves. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust, and the only sale that takes place is convincing a buyer or seller to use you. Once you've done that, there's no sale. The homes sell themselves. All you're doing at that point is providing customer service. And so if agents stay focused on the customer service process, we will be necessary. It's when an agent moves away from customer service and thinks that all we are is an information solution, technology can provide that same information and they no longer become necessary to the transaction. So it's like the checkout at a grocery store. A lot of grocery stores now, you can order online, you can skip the whole having to interact with people process, but I think it's annoying to have to interact with the computer. You try to take your vegetables and your fruits and run them through the system, it's a huge pain. I'd rather have a person do it. And I actually like someone to say, hey, Rivers, how are you today?
Sure.
I enjoy that interaction.
Yeah.
Maybe there's people out there that don't, that hide under a rock, but to me, I think the future is still going to necessitate somebody holding their hand through the process.
I love it. You tried last 2 years or so to follow the next hot trend of the expansion team model. You went into, 4 or 5 different cities outside of Omaha, right?
Yep.
And tell us about what happened.
Yeah, so we launched San Diego's Elite Real Estate Group, Salt Lake City's Elite Real Estate Group, Clear Sailing Realty in Boston, Massachusetts, and Lincoln's Elite Real Estate Group in Lincoln, Nebraska. And obviously there's a big buzz and a lot of podcasts talking about expansion and everyone's saying it's great. One of the things I've always prided myself on is that when someone talks about something new that works, I want to test it out for myself. And so we spent about $250,000, probably hundreds of hours in R&D, finding the right people, expanding into the right markets, and we had a positive ROI. Over the 12-month period in 2016, we made money. The challenge was when we look at our ROT, all the time and energy that had to go into making that money. We actually don't believe that a majority of these expansion teams are going to work. And the challenge is, I like to say, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. What I mean by that is you're damned if you do, in that if the location works and you're successful, typically there's a person at that location that's the driving factor of that success. And if it proves out to be a success, oftentimes that person leaves and does it on their own, from the teams I have been watching. You're damned if you don't, because if you put all of the money into an expansion location and time and it doesn't perform, that location closes out. You're not going to keep going if you keep putting good money against
just
bad money.
Throwing more money in there isn't going to change it.
That's right. So the way I look at it, yes, some locations are going to work. Obviously, there's outliers, but I think for a majority of people that have considered doing it, I just would like to challenge you with the question of why wouldn't you just continue to expand in your own market? You probably have not reached max capacity in your own market, so why start considering going outside of your market? Put your time and energy into your own. A lot of people will say, why don't you just do both? I'd say because you get distracted when you do both. Read the one thing. Which is ironic because the whole idea of expansion comes from the man that wrote the one thing.
But I mean, you're following his model.
Yeah, I already announced at the beginning of this. I follow MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I think it's very distracting for someone that's already has a good thing going for them to open up and go into a different marketplace. Now, if you're expanding within your own brokerage model, which I know is what Keller Williams teaches and professes, they essentially just say find talent in another market that's not with Keller Williams and convince them to join Keller Williams and become your expansion team agent. Our experience wasn't that great, so we actually flipped it upside down, and we just launched a product called Livestream. If you want to learn more about it, go to erslivestream.com. That's our coaching business.
Cool.
And we recognize that what people really want when they partner with an expansion agent or a rockstar agent is they want training, they want accountability, they want systems, they want BoomTown. And we thought to ourselves, okay, well, why don't we teach people how to do all of that, but not take ownership in their location, not take equity, not have commission share or any of that. Let's give it all away, give away the farm, and charge a monthly subscription fee. So currently at $497 a month, we give people everything so that they can build and scale their own team and not have to share all their commissions with us.
You heard it there. Flipping the model on its head, doing something a little bit different. We like talking about that's a bit disruptive.
A little bit disruptive.
It's kind of going against the stream. But it's working for you. I mean, it seems to be working. You guys are building up some scale.
We just went into public offering last month, May 2016. We have over 20 people currently on the program. We expect to end the year with over 100. The demand has continued to grow. And in a nutshell, we're live streaming all of our offices, which is my Omaha office's flagship team. We live stream all of our Wednesday, Friday meetings. So we're making all of those available through a product called Livestream, the software offering, but it's through our website. You just get a login code, and you can watch all of our trainings and engage with our trainers via instant chat. And then you have access to all of those trainings via our video library. So if you want to get in and learn about posting houses to Craigslist, there's an hour-long video all about posting to Craigslist, listing presentation training, negotiation training. And so we're essentially solving the problem that most broker owners and team leaders aren't providing training content. And so we're doing it for them for a very reduced price of what a broker or even a team leader might have to pay a trainer to provide it to their team.
And then you also offer on-site workshops, right?
Yep, so we up for $29.97, $3,000. We open our office once a month. We average about 10 to 15 visitors a month that come out and watch us put on our workshop. It's an engaging environment where we challenge those that are there, and we talk about culture, leads, accountability, processes, and different strategies that we've used to go from 70 to 750 deals in just 6 years. So it's a great event. If you want to check out more information on that, you go out to jeffsworkshop.com, or you can find all these different tools and offerings at eliterealestatesystems.com. But anyone listening today, since you are with BoomTown, we'll offer you a 50% discount to our workshop. It's normally $29.97. We'll give it to you for $14.97. And I'll also throw in all of our intellectual property via our Google Drive, which costs $9.97 if you just wanted to buy our intellectual property, which consists of over 30 hours of training content, all of our drip campaigns, and a lot of other bells and whistles in there. That'll be included when you come out to our workshop.
Well, that sounds sounds lovely. You heard that special BoomTown pricing. Love it, man. Well, if there's is there anything else? I mean, we talked a lot about teams. We talked a lot about some perception issues.
I think the thing I'd leave everyone with is the stat that we shared earlier today. We were talking about lead conversion and how the median amount of time we have leads in our BoomTown platform is about 5 months. Or 150 days. And so what I would say to anybody, especially new people that are newer to the BoomTown platform, give it some time. Anything you invest in from a marketing standpoint, as well as a tech solution, needs to have 12 months. You need to become an expert at it before you say it didn't work.
Right.
And so for those out there struggling, yes, it is challenging. There's a lot of challenges around any new piece of technology or tool that you're going to implement into your business. But I promise if you give it time, you will get results from it.
As long as you follow your system and are accountable and the model.
That's exactly right.
The tool won't deliver it on its own.
Yep, and build your own Disneyland. A lot of times people feel like they have to follow, the Jeff Cohn model or insert any other top agent's name's model. Build your own model. Figure out what works for you, what works for your culture, what you're wanting to create for yourselves, but definitely follow up on it.
Sure.
Be repetitive, be intentional, hold people accountable, provide training to help them be successful, generate leads, and recruit, and I guarantee you're going to scale, you're going to be successful. Just stay at it and stay the course.
Love it. Jeff, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, dude. Appreciate the interview. That was awesome. Thank you.
A lot of fun.
All right, man. Have a good one.